hurt. This is the time to strike. And then he actually saw how hurt he was, and he was like, who did this to you? Like, what happened? And then Beacon, he got mad about it. Like, why are you asking me these questions? Yeah.
Yo, what's happening, everybody? This is your boy, Erskmac, the Mad Scientist.
And Vievo.
This is the Orange Phoenix Show Anime Breakdown, where we break down each episode of animes of our choice. And I know we covering Solo Leveling, and we up on episode 2. But the next anime breakdown we're going to cover is Ishura, which is on Hulu. Hulu been having some hidden bangers, and this was brought to my attention by a mutual friend of ours, and she said, hey, go check out Ishura. I saw it on Black Anime Nerds, so I went to go check it out, and man, I was floored. But I'm really interested in what Vievo had to say about it, because you checked out the first 2 episodes just recently. What are your thoughts, like, overall, before we break these episodes down?
Listen, after I was watching, I was in the middle of episode 1, and I was like, what the hell is happening? What is going on? I'm lost. What's happening?
So much is going on.
I like the action, but what is happening?
Yeah.
But animation is great.
Yeah.
So for me, watching it on Hulu, because Hulu has the way that they do their subtitles, because I prefer watching sub versions as opposed to the dub versions.
Yeah.
The way that they did their subtitles kind of threw me off a little bit. I don't know if it was like the background or like the text just wasn't big enough for me.
Yeah.
Or maybe like I just didn't have enough brain cells to rub together in that moment that I was watching the anime to really fully comprehend what was being said. It seemed like the beginning, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It seemed, I don't want to say hodgepodge. Something was just off for me when watching it. Like, so when you start episode 1, the main focus is on Yuno.
Yeah. And
at first you're trying to figure out, so does Yuno have this crush on this girl, or like, does she want to be friends with her? What is happening?
Right.
And then they're like going about their day, going to school, practicing the word arts, which apparently translates to spoken magic. Which was cool, but it wasn't immediately clear to me. Like, so is this supposed to be like post-apocalyptic Earth, or is this like an alternative dimension, or is this like another world completely? Because in the very beginning you see like the city, like an earthquake, and then that main building erupts, and then like little things come out of it. I thought that they were like goblins.
Yeah.
They pan it, the way the shot was, it was like in the distance, so you couldn't really make out what they were. And then it like switches to and I guess the city in its current state, and that thing that raised up out of the ground is now like more up to date looking and polished, I guess.
Yeah.
So I wasn't quite sure if I was right with the timeline of it. And then all of a sudden, and her friend are, what was her name? Lucellus or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just casually walking, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. And then we see what those little things actually were, and they're mechs. So that really threw me off. I was like, wait, is this a mech anime? Like, what did I miss something? And then Lucellus gets the very short end of the stick.
Very short end of the stick.
I was like, in that moment when that started happening to her, I was like, we're not even 10 minutes in. What is that? I felt so heartbroken. I was like, what? They're going to do her like that?
Yeah. In front of
This is kind of like Goblin Slayer, only worse.
I don't know you can get worse than Goblin Slayer. Like,
I mean, honestly, when I was watching it, I was like, wow, that's really effed up. But
yeah.
old girl got parts ripped off of her. Like,
nonchalantly. It was like, so yeah. So back in track to the episode 1. Like, I was just in the same vein as you overall when I looked at this anime. Is that there was a lot of things going on with little explanation. So the pacing is a little bit different compared to Solo Leveling. So when I watched Solo Leveling for the first time, I like, okay, it's a little bit of a slower pace. Then I watched Ishura for the first time. I actually like Ishura better because
You sure about that?
the pacing was a little bit faster. But now looking at it for a second time and looking at the first episode of Ishura for the second time, I was like, Solo Leveling is better because of the pacing. So, and I'm in that little vein.
I feel like Ishura, like, it tries to give context.
Yeah.
But the context needs more explanation.
Yeah. So
a little more. Just a little.
A lot. Yeah, just a little bit. So Lucellus, when I watched it for the first time, I wasn't really sure what I was watching, so I had to rewind it. And golems, that what they were called.
That's
so
what
the
they
robots.
call them.
So the golems like ripping Lucellus apart, and like the golem stops and looks at and then
like,
proceeds to keep ripping limbs off of Lucellus. I was like, damn. So uses word arts, and in this world, word arts, like you said, are magical spells. And as they're in school, they're alluding to the fact that there are visitors of the outside world, like in this other world.
Yeah, and that's why I was confused. So I'm like, actually, now that I think about it more, I think that the world that is actually from is not Earth. It is some other world, because when Seojiro actually appears, he calls him a visitor, and then when he's actually he does like his final move or whatever, it gives you, because he's a swordsman, it gives you a little history about his particular line of swordsmanship, and it goes back to historical Japan. But then he also, when he's talking to mentions that, you can't speak Japanese, and the only reason that they're able to understand each other is because of word arts.
Right.
And he, as a visitor, cannot use word arts.
Yeah, so that makes me think. Yeah, that makes me think like Sojiro is from Earth, and these individuals are from an alternate plane, and that, like, I think the world building is going to come like later on, because this comes from a manga which I have not read. Neither of us have. Yeah, so neither of us have read it. So just by looking at this, how the first episode goes into the second episode and how the second episode ends, it ends very similar to the first one, and it seems like it's introducing all of these heroes,
the main players.
Yeah, before like the real story takes off.
Yeah. And I looked it up, and it's actually categorized as an isekai, so that would make sense why they would be called visitors, because they are actually in another world. So
wow, it's described as an isekai.
It says born isekai.
Okay, so from the first episode, like, a lot of things is happening, and the great labyrinth that these people are actually exploring is actually a giant golem. So they didn't know it was a giant golem, or how these smaller golems keeps coming out, but it finally surfaces and pretty much wrecks the entire city. Like, it's just done. And is really the last survivor in this whole situation. And then enter Sojiro and gives off strong Kenpachi vibes, because he has a ragged sword and he's all about having fun. And his idea of fun is a battle. And all he wants is some food. Give me your ration.
He's like, I want food and fights.
That's it. Yeah. You give me that when I'm done. But I'm going to go take care of these golems. Go make easy work of those. And the animation is gorgeous. I really do like the animation. It is a mix between CGI and regular animation. And I really do like his fighting style. He has no magic. It's just straight
skill.
Blade. Straight skill. And it seems his particular skill set is to know your vital points and know how to turn your own weapon against you, because that's exactly what he did in
what
the
did
first.
They call it? The Mutodori?
Mutodori, yeah.
Yeah.
And he pretty much took out a golem alone without being skinned or bleeding or no scrapes or bruises, just whatever he got on. It's just dingy and dirty, but that's just how he came in the scene. He just came like that. So the weird part of it, though, was how had this inner monologue with herself.
I don't think I'm gonna like her character. Like, after the first episode, I was like,
yeah,
because she's like, did he wake it up? Did it respond to him being here? I hate strong people. Like, you're the reason why he's the reason why you're still alive right now. So
yeah,
I don't like her.
So did you catch the vibe where she may be low-key plotting on him? Because she was like,
oh no, she is. She definitely is.
Because she keep mentioning all these individuals, and these are the people that are stronger than you, and these are the people that can defeat you. But I'm gonna go with you. And then I don't know if it's something he said after she had that inner monologue with herself, that, you know what, you're free now. And almost like a light bulb just went off in her head. She's like, yeah, I lost everything. I am free, so I'll go with you to Arithia. I think it's Arithia. And I'm a representative. I'm from Nagin, so let's go.
Yeah, no, her motivation for going there is so that whoever he goes up against will kill him.
Yeah, and that won't happen. I don't think that's going to happen. So, judging from that first episode, though, it was a lot to take in. It really was. It threw a lot at you. It threw a lot at you at one time. And anybody that watched that first episode, I think their first thought is, this is the main character. This is who is going to be centered around. Only to go into the second episode and you see someone else.
And you're like, oh, okay.
There's someone else. Like, you saw three. No, maybe four. Maybe four major individuals in the second episode. You got, looking through my notes here, you got Shulk, and you have Hirogiri, the Pelagic, and you have Alice, the Star Runner. And then you have...
I like Alice.
Yeah. Alice is dope, man. I was like, yo.
But one thing that was interesting is, so they categorized him like he was born as a wyvern, but he was born with 3 arms.
Yeah.
And I was like, so wyverns only have 2 legs. And then their arms are their wings. Dragons have 4 limbs plus their wings. So I'm like, so is technically he's supposed it. I know that he was born to wyvern parents, but basically him by him having like actual arms
and thumbs,
doesn't that make him a dragon? I feel like that makes him a dragon, actually.
I feel like that do, but Ringnajay is like a head of the wyvern army, aerial combat.
He was cool.
He was definitely cool.
And when they started talking, I was confused as hell. I was like, oh, they can talk? And they're wearing armor? Oh, this is awesome.
I was like, because Terran the Guarded found a way to tame these wyverns, but they are part of the aerial combat system. But they are the only city, Lithia, that has that aerial combat system. But now, judging from the second episode, though, it looked like Iridia and Lithia are at odds with each other, and they're plotting on each other. Well, more or less, Iridia.
Oh yeah, from that that dialogue between, because they were plotting an assassination of some sort.
Yeah, having some kind of spy inside Lithia, and because I think a full frontal assault on Lithia wouldn't work, considering that you have Ringnajay being head of the wyvern army, and you have no way to actually shooting these wyverns down, and they're smart and they're talking, so they already know how formation goes.
Oh, and they know thermal arts.
And they know thermal. And they know thermal
Can't
arts.
forget that. Can't forget that.
Can't forget that. So the second episode did have a lot going on, but the pacing was a little bit different. Hey guys, I know you are enjoying our show, but just a quick second, I want you guys to subscribe to our Patreon and continue to support us, because the more support we have, the more cool things we can do. Now, we have two different tiers. We have a $5 tier and a $15 tier. The $5 tier guarantees you a bi-monthly edition of Orange Phoenix magazine, where we cover all things of geekdom, whether it's anime, manga, pro wrestling, comics, cosplay, you name it, we nerd it. That is our slogan. Now, you might be asking yourself, what about the other months? Well, monthly, you get entered into a giveaway drawing. So if your name gets pulled in the drawing, you get some of the cool stuff that we buy from these conventions from the past, the present, and in the future. We talking figurines, we talking Blu-ray DVD sets that's typically not aired on any streaming service. We talking various forms of artwork, because we know when you go in that deals room and you go in that artist alley, you want to buy so much things and you got a budget. But say you might not be able to get the things that's outside of your budget. We may have those things. So you get entered into those drawings and you have a chance to win those cool things. Now, the $15 tier, you are guaranteed the bi-monthly edition of Orange Phoenix magazine. You are automatically entered into the giveaway drawing. Plus, you get early access to all of our videos before it gets aired on YouTube. You got it? All of our videos air before YouTube. Tendency to be 24 to 48 hours before, and also any private videos be sent straight to you guys. So we're talking both videos early access and videos that is never going to air on YouTube. You will have access to that as well as all of our past editions of Orange Phoenix magazine. That is the $15 tier. So please continue to support us as we continue to grow. And without any further ado, let's get back to our regular scheduled program. Because of the, I know Shark and Higure was in the back, and Higure was very interesting to me. He's very mysterious. I mean, he's made out of wood, but
I was about to say he's a plant monster, so
yeah. But he saw things before it happened. It was like above you.
Yes.
And he wasn't even outside. He wasn't even outside. He was like above you. Yeah, I was like, he can't hear you, bro. He can't hear you. His head is gone. So,
those bandits, the outlaws, were like, what?
Fodder. That's what they were.
They were like, we haven't practiced shooting above. But then that was also interesting to me, is that they have guns.
Yes.
They look like muskets, though, so.
You're bandits and you never practice shooting in the sky. And you have flying lizards.
Why?
You didn't think that through,
Like,
fam?
I would have thought that would be a common thing to shoot in the sky.
Yeah.
Like, you have reasons to practice.
You have a sole reason to practice. It looks like we haven't practiced this. Like, okay, so you used to just raiding, these horse carriages and just robbing people, and you got bombs and stuff. I'm like, all right, cool, fam. I mean, clearly,
how do they have? Never mind.
How do they have what? Because they were sent. They were sent.
No, the thing is like, so you have golems that are basically robots.
Yes.
You have guns.
Yes.
And y'all still using horse and carriages to get around?
Yes.
Y'all have dragons with armor, and y'all still using horse and carriages to get around?
Huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All those things. But I think, so with Negan, that area, they didn't have any guns. I think they just had blades and was attacking like the those weaknesses that was in the golems, and that's all they had.
Well, no, they didn't. No, those were guns.
They had guns too? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because when they stabbed it, they fired, like it exploded when they stabbed it, and then they did something and
okay, I got
like
it.
I think they have like bayonets on the end of them or something like that.
Okay. I know. Well, with those bandits, they were sent. Like, they were pawns and a chessboard. Fodder. They was going to die regardless. And with the wild wyverns, Ring the G must feel some kind of way about them. Like, listen, look at that untrained trash.
So he made it. He felt a clear type of way of them.
Yeah.
About them.
Like this.
Well, what I thought was interesting is that, well, actually that makes sense because it kind of matches how the first episode went. Like with the first episode, we were introduced to Lucellis, and then we were introduced to Sojiro. With the second episode, we were introduced to Hagure. What was her name? It was the skeleton dude. I forgot his name.
Oh yeah, Shock.
And then
it's not Taryn, because Taryn is the person that is over Lithia.
I wrote her name down and I can't remember where I wrote it. But we were introduced to those three characters, and then Rinneji. And then we get introduced to Alice and Harajan.
Yeah. Hajent. Yeah, they got weird names like Hajent and Vikio the Smoldering Dragon.
Yeah, he too got the short end of the stick.
Very much so. Listen. I ain't never seen a dragon get conquered like that quickly or have that level of fear.
What happened to you?
Yo, right, because the whole campaign Hajit had was, I'm gonna go find Vikio the Smoldering. I'm gonna kill his ass. That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
I heard he was hurt. This is the time to strike. And then he actually saw how hurt he was, and he was like, "Who did this to you? Like, what happened?" And then Vikian, he got mad about it. Like, why are you asking me these questions?
Right.
He's like, I'm about to kill you. Stop asking me questions. He got mad. He was so angry.
He didn't call him a peasant, but he was definitely giving him peasant vibes. Saying, listen, is there anybody else out there? Tell me the truth. Forget all that, fam. What the hell happened to you? Like, what happened to you?
Still bleeding out the chest, missing the leg, blind in an eye. Like, yo.
Like, talk to me. Like, you got bigger problems.
And then Alice shows up like, what's up?
What's up, dog? Yo, back up for a second. This is another funny moment. This is like almost equivalent to when old boy in Solo Leveling tried to run and got his ass like smoldered. when he called his word art and that giant arrow, he shot it and it just hit.
He was like, it later. That's all. And then Vicky was just standing there like,
Dummy. Yeah. Yeah. Dummy. Yeah. Yeah. Dummy. Yeah. Yeah.
As I was saying, dog.
But what was really funny about it is that it was super dramatic. Like his word art was super dramatic.
Yes.
And then he fired it, and it was super dramatic. And then it just hit him in the forehead, and it was like, boink. And then he had the nerve to be like,
I'm gonna kill you with this arrow. It is not penetrating your skin.
It might as well have been a toothpick, yo.
I was like, come on, man. This is what you brought to the fight. This is what your mission was. You're gonna create this giant arrow that shoot him in his beak. That just didn't happen. It was like, come on, bro. Come on now. And
I was like,
all
if
right.
that was your original plan to subdue a dragon,
Yeah.
none of y'all would have made it home.
Yeah.
Well,
he was the only one left. I mean,
yeah.
because his lieutenant was like, she called her word art and got him out of Dodge, so she can take that hit. I mean, I would have got myself out of Dodge with that, but you know, at least help everybody else out. But still, so as Vikio was about to, he like, thank you for your answer. You know,
I'm gonna kill you.
I'm gonna still kill you. I'm gonna just kill you quickly, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, Alice just over there, like you said, chilling. Hey, I'm looking for you.
And then, Dragon was like, he started stuttering.
Yeah.
Why are you here? Haven't I given you enough? What more can you take? Alice was like, well, to start, your other leg.
Yeah. The rest of your body parts, dog.
Oh my gosh. And
like,
Alice was so nonchalant with it. Like he knew he was that good.
Yeah. He was like, so Vicky was like, you robbed me. You robbed me. You came to my house. You came to my nest, took all my gold, all my treasures, took my arm, and yet here you are standing right here in front of me. It's like, bro, Alice was a bully. Alice was a bully. I never seen a dragon that shook before in any anime. Like just
not a one.
Pause mid-fire, like about to kill someone and stops and like, yo, and like, okay, you're here.
Like he saw him in his peripherals and had.
Yeah, and then here's a definition of audacity. Harjit has the audacity to shoot an arrow at Alice.
Talking about this is between me and him.
You must be some kind of a dumbass.
Like, bro, you no longer part of the conversation.
Play him and his little toothpick like that was gonna actually be a threat. Like he was.
That was
swear.
horrible. But you know what? You know what though? I think that arrow would have penetrated Alice if Alice would have stayed there because Alice moved. Like he moved out the way.
I would have.
Exactly.
But he didn't have the same hide that the dragon does, so.
Yeah, it's just soft skin. But,
actually, no, it wouldn't have pierced him. It wouldn't have, because he had that special magical artifact that was that shield.
Yeah,
if he was actually in danger of being hit, then that would have probably activated it.
Yeah, the shield would have got it. Now, I will say, like before we go further in episode 2, the backtrack to episode 1. At the end of episode 1, they did a special narration of Sojiro, and it did the same thing with Alice, like explaining he is a treasure hunter and he's conquered some land and he's looking for more adventures and stuff. Like he has a weird knack with magical items, and he can use word art, which is also confusing a little bit. So. And he's like the fastest in the sky or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah, because that fight between him and Vikio
was flying.
Yeah.
I think he broke the sound barrier. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I was like, man.
And we shot him in his good eye.
With the magic bullet and did word arts.
And then made it turn into some spikes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah.
Shit. Got your ass.
This is what we on. And was that a double barrel shotgun he had?
Yes.
Yeah.
Got him with the Thule. I was like, okay.
He didn't even.
So that's how we rolling in this anime.
He quick scoped a dragon's eyeball. That's with a double barrel shotgun. Got him with the Thule. And I mean, he got it in mid-flight
Pulled
too.
that Genya.
He was like, wow, I got you. Oh, by the way, here's this word art for the inside of your eye right now. So, my boy. So, I'm gonna have to say, like, I know there's other characters out there, right? I'm very interested in the name escapes me with this character, but was explaining this character. He had like a long rifle, and it looks like a female, and she looks bad. I think it's Toa. I think her name is Toa or something like that.
Yeah.
So going back to like Alice taking out Vikio was down for a second, and he called Harjit his friend. So their relationship is kind of odd. It seems like Harjit actually knows who Alice is, and
because I remember Harjit said he was like, well, he couldn't even use his arms when I met him.
Right. So did Alice take his arm? Or did someone else did?
No, Harjit said that Alice wasn't able to use his arms when they first met.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, that's the part I missed. And that's very dangerous for a wyvern to fly, break the sound barrier, can use various magical items, can use word arts, and can pull out a Thule at any point in time and shoot you in your eyeballs.
Yep. And he hit him dead center too. Dead center.
And the sword is what got me though. That sword is what got me. I was like, yo, that was a clean cut vertically. I never seen a dragon get slayed like that before. And I was like, okay.
He peeled him like a banana, yo.
Easily. Like Alice is the real deal for sure. Now I'm very curious on like the third episode on what it's gonna bring, because it is a little mixture. I see some Bleach with Sojiro. Looking at the first 2 episodes as a whole, I get some Fate Stay Night kind of vibes.
Yeah. Didn't they kind of do the same thing in Fate Stay? No, they didn't. Because in Fate Stay Night, you had actual,
actual heroes being summoned.
And it is my quest to watch the entirety of the Fate Stay Night series. I found a list that tells you the order in which you should watch the shows. Yeah. The only 2 that I've watched was the original Fate Stay Night and then the Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. So I still have to go through all the other stuff. But from what I can remember was in Fate Stay Night, there were like 2 central characters that they followed. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember them. I think they gave like a little bit of exposition on, characters they met along the way, but it wasn't like in this type of format. Yeah. Unless you remember something different.
Yeah, well, female King Arthur. Saber was technically the main class that's kind of like featured above the other classes. The other classes are really, really cool, but the Saber class is the one that's typically the main one at the forefront. Which leads to an anime recommendation, which when we do anime recommendations, it's typically anime that we have not, covered or did an anime breakdown on. But since Vievo said the Fate series, one Fate series that that has beautiful animation, and I want to say it's on Netflix. It's called Fate Apocrypha. That one is slap. That animation is gorgeous.
All of the edits, all of the edits that I've seen, I'm actively in the process of watching it. Literally, the studio was like, "What budget?
Yeah.
We have a budget?
Yeah.
Oh, pish posh. We're gonna do this.
We're gonna do this, and we're gonna give you all the smoke. And we dare anyone to give you better animation than us. But Fate Apocrypha is very good. Go check that out for our anime recommendation. But Ishura is interesting. I'm gonna give it some more. I'm gonna give it some more episodes to digest, and I think you feel the same way.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah.
So, episode 1, if I had to depend on episode 1, it probably wouldn't have grabbed me or kept my attention. But episode 2 actually brought me back in. Alice being one. Huh?
I said I agree.
Yeah.
I like was Alice's character, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it because of him.
Yeah.
He seems like he's nice.
Yeah.
He's like a nice badass.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, you're a friend. Isn't that what friends do? You know, save each other, help each other out. Because Vikio definitely was going to roast your ass before I got here. So, like, Vikio's going unequivocally, you're like, listen, if you lie to me, I'm going to torture you, and then I'm going to kill you. But go ahead and tell me the truth, and your fate won't be the same as the former. So, you're like, oh yeah, you got a minion champion? You got a minion champion? Because I have beaten them all. I've grown bored. I ate them. But bro, what happened to your arm? What happened to your limbs? That's neither here nor there.
So mad. He was like, that's not relevant. Let's not change the subject.
He was on a high level of passivity, dog. Like, you pissing me off even further. Like, don't worry about who whooped my ass. Just worry about your own ass at this point. But Harjit, I don't know the overall premise of the show, but it seems like Harjit was alluding to the fact that we are gathering heroes. I won't pick you though, but we are gathering heroes to Aritia, and you'll be a good candidate to come. That we told Alice. So it seems like there's going to be like this great gathering, and
it might be a tournament of some sort.
I would not be opposed to that. I won't be opposed to that. Kind of how Record of Ragnarok is, because they'll take a bite off of that. But I won't be opposed to that. Or they just gathering these heroes up for a great war against something else that is just as strong. So I don't think these.
I thought that they were supposed to be. Oh, okay. So they're trying to become the one true hero.
Yeah, because the Demon King is gone.
Yeah, but I thought that they were doing that. I wonder if there's supposed to be like a resurgence of the Demon King, or there's a new Demon King that's going to be coming to power, and they need somebody to be strong enough to face that.
So from what I understood is that the Demon King was defeated, but no one knows who defeated the Demon King. And that person is never coming forward. So, but you got all these champions out here, and there's a seat, I guess, to determine who's going to be, I don't want to say the next Demon King, but be that person to say, hey, we got to find out who beat this Demon King, because Demon King is super strong. So
yeah,
I think that's where it's at with it. At least that's what we interpret from the first 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But
that makes sense.
But we will dive deep further into episode 3. Hopefully that gives a little bit more answers.
Yeah.
But I do feel like the first few episodes are going to be introductions to these characters to a certain degree. So this we are. Anime recommendation, Fate Apocrypha, which is different from what we are covering Ishura. Go ahead and check out our Solo Leveling episode where we did another anime recommendation in there. And it is a Hulu anime, so you got to check out our Solo Leveling anime breakdown to see what it is. But until next time, y'all, peace.
See ya.